guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's T.A.G shit.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine.
What up, T.A.G Nation, and welcome to another episode of NXT.A.G. And tonight, we are talking about New Year's Evil. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm kind of intrigued with some of the booking that was going on with New Year's Evil, because with this being the first show of 2026, I'm kind of intrigued with the booking. I'm kind of intrigued to see how things are going and how things will go and some of these decisions they made. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I gotta see where this stuff goes. But the night, let's see if it pops up finally. The night was supposed to start off with Women's North American Champion Thea taking on Blake Monroe. Thea comes out first. Blake Monroe jumps her from behind, and she pretty much just beats Thea up. Threw her into the steel steps, threw her into the barricade, and the match didn't even happen. And while Blake was ushered to the back and they was checking on Thea, Ricky Saint's music hits, and he pretty much comes out there and he's talking his shit. Simple and plain. He's like, I'm the reason for the revolution. I'm the reason why, people are watching. Whoever wins in that main event between Ova and Leon, I want that belt. Ova, we're 1-1. Leon, pretty much, I know I can beat you type of energy. Ricky just talking shit. That's just pretty much what it just comes down to. Ricky just talking shit. Then it cuts back to Ava and Robert Stone, and they're pretty much talking about what we're going to do about the North American Championship match, since what just happened. And then eventually Ava said something to Stone, I don't remember, but then eventually Ava finds Blake, and pretty much Ava's like, I'm kicking you out the building. Because I don't appreciate what you did. And you ain't got to worry about the North American Championship match, because, you're done. Get out type of energy. And it was like, all right, cool. Damn. Then we get to our next match, which was Izzy Dame taking on Tatum Paxley. And once again, I do not know why the graphics do not want to pop up, y'all. And this was kind of, their grudge match to kind of settle things between the two ladies, after Izzy betrayed Tatum. Izzy did get the first win at Halloween Havoc. No, not Halloween Havoc. Deadline. Deadline. Then they're running it back. It wasn't a bad match. It was some nice little near falls. It was some nice back and forth action between the two ladies. Ultimately, Tatum went for a 450. I think Tatum was trying to land too safely, and she didn't get all of it. But then after the 450, she picks Izzy up, hit her with the cemetery drive. Boom. Tatum gets the dub, and pretty much they're kind of just saying, hey, we're done. This is it. No more, no mas. We shouldn't be beefing. We shouldn't be fighting anymore type of energy. Like, the beef is done. Then we get a vignette of the French luchador, and I do not hope I am saying the first name. Filio Lafleur. He's a French luchador. They never said exactly when he's supposed to debut, but he's gonna debut soon. Then they show where Jordan Grace and Thea are backstage, and Ava comes in, you know, checking on Thea, and pretty much Thea's like, I want to still defend the title. And Ava's like, girl, you know what I'm saying? You just kind of took a little beating. Like, you good? Like, you can have the night off. And she was like, no, I'm getting tired of people saying I shouldn't be the champ. And I'm going to defend this belt. And, you know, I'm going to just bring back the open challenge type of thing. So I'm going to do an open challenge. And Ava's like, Thea, you sure? Jordan Grace is over there like, hey, Ava, she just told you what she want to do type of energy. And Ava's like, all right. Then we get to our next championship match. Jacy Jayne is defending her NXT Women's Championship against Evolve Women's Champion Kendall Gray. Of course, Jacy has Fatal Influence. Kendall has Ren. And this wasn't a bad match, but I really didn't know which way they was going to truly go with this. Excuse me. Mainly because they've been really high on Kendall. So it was like, damn, could Kendall get that belt off of Jacy and end up being champ? It was like, I don't know. Like, you know, they've been kind of high on Kendall Gray. Good back and forth. Jacy Jayne proves having friends is a good thing, because when things start breaking down and Fatal Influence got to fighting with Ren and Kendall, what happened was Jacy was against the ropes and Fallon grabs Jacy tights because Kendall went for like, it wasn't like exactly Liv Morgan's Oblivion, but she was going for something adjacent, kind of, and it didn't happen. Of course, after Fallon let go, Jacy hit the rolling encore. Wow, Jacy remains champion, and I was like, thank you. It's not that I have nothing against Kendall Gray. It's just, if you're not watching Evolve, and once again, she could be tearing the house down on Evolve. But to me, I don't think they did a good enough job to let us know she's the one we should be cheering and rooting for. Because once again, I haven't started doing the science yet of watching Evolve. Kendall could be down there just doing it, but the couple of matches she had, including her being in the Women's Iron Survivor, the couple of matches she had, is like, okay. But yeah, Jacy does retain, and more on Fatal Influence a little later. Then we get Ava is talking to Ethan in the office, and Ethan is like, yeah, I'm gonna go out there and pretty much pop my shit, you know, no strings attached, you ain't gotta worry about me doing whatever. And then as he was leaving, he was basically saying, hey, I'm gonna introduce you to my boys though, which of course was the Vanity Project. So they come into the office, and it pretty much goes to Thea. So Thea is now in the ring, and she's like, open challenge time. And they do the thing where all the women come out there fighting to, you know, get to the ring. And what happens is Tatum has her chainsaw. So of course they clear the path for Tatum to get through, because, you know, she's willing a chainsaw. And right when she gets to the ring, Izzy blindsides Thea Hale. And now magically Spears and Nico show up, and then boom, Thea Hale is gonna take on Izzy Dane. And it was like, what? Huh? Like, what in the, how did she just lose? And now, you know, she got a whole title match. So now for the Women's North American Championship, Thea Hale, Izzy Dane. Now, of course, remember, Thea's already selling an injury, even though even though Izzy lost, but Thea is still selling an injury. So yeah. I get accidents happen. I get, things weren't supposed to go the way they supposed to go, and you have to kind of pivot, redo. But they really did not see it for Thea as champion, because the closing moments, Izzy hits her finisher, which I forgot what it was called. Game over. And she hits it from the top rope, which is pretty much a sit out power bomb. And 1, 2, 3. Izzy Dane is your new women's North American champion. So now, what makes that kind of the of it all is you left it unresolved with Blake and Thea. Instead of just letting Thea kind of just chill for at least another week, you let her do the open challenge, which is fine. That's the dangers of the open challenge. She loses. But then she loses to Izzy Dane, who just lost to Tatum Paxley. Don't forget, I understand. We've seen this before. Unfortunately, we've seen it before with Money in the Banks, but we didn't see it before like this. Remember, Seth Rollins lost to Randy Orton, came back, heist of the century. Naomi lost to Jade Cargill, came back, stole it at Evolution. So I get it in the sense like that, but the way it was done, it was like, so either y'all really wanted Izzy to be a champion that bad, or you really just didn't want Thea to have that belt. And it felt more punishment to me than anything. It was like, all right, we're going to go ahead and let you have these 2 weeks with the championship. We're going to let it ride, blah, 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 blah. But just know, you're going to lose it. Now, there's rumors of Blake potentially could be getting called up soon. But what? Like, what? Then to further the thing, we get to a segment where Lola was watching the TV. And of course, Lola's fuming at the fact that Izzy just won. Here comes Vanity Project, being Vanity Project, which of course that's Jackson Drake, who's the Evolved Men's Champion, Brad Baylor, and what is the other guy's name? Because Brad Baylor and the other guy make up the tag team within Vanity Project. Swipe right. I totally forgot the other guy's name. But so they come and messing with Lola. Hank and Tank comes up there, and pretty much Hank and Tank kind of scares off Vanity Project. And Lola was like, well, shit, I should be next in line to the Women's North American Championship, because I just beat Izzy like last week. So that's where I'm like, these booking decisions, like what's really good? What's going on? Like, did y'all really not want Thea? Like, was it such a bad thing that Thea accidentally won? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It's done. Izzy is the new Women's North American Champion. It's done. In the process, eventually Lola comes out. Not Lola. I apologize. Kalani comes in, and then Lola and Kalani start to fight backstage. They had to get pulled apart, and that was a match that was announced for next week. Joe Hendry barges in Ava's office and was like, I want Dark State, let alone I want the leader. So they're kind of establishing from the way Joe Hendry made it seem like that Dion Lennox is the leader of Dark State. And he was like, not only do I want Dion Lennox, but I wanted a no DQ match. And Ava was like, all right, Joe, I get what you're saying, but look at it this way, big dog. It's a 4-on-1. You know, it ain't gonna just be Dion. You know, it's gonna be the other three. So how about you find you some friends, you find you some homies, so that way you know it ain't just you, it's not just you by yourself type of energy. So what ended up happening is we see that Joe Hendry is talking to OTM. Well, I'm skipping ahead. Let me, you know what? I'll say it now. OTM is talking. I mean, Joe Hendry is talking to OTM, and OTM is like, "Look, we only worrying about the championships and this, that, and the third." And Hendry was like, "All right, bet. Hit me out. If you help me with Dark State got the tag team titles. So if me beating Dion helps me out, and y'all are helping me out in defeating Dion, ergo de facto Dark State, then that should get y'all closer to the tag team titles." And Bronco and Lucian kind of look, boy, we'll see you next week. Well, what I skipped was Ethan Page comes out, and pretty much Ethan Page talking his trash. He's like, you know, I've been defending this championship. I'm international. Blah, 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 blah. Jasper Troy comes out and was like, look, you popping all of this, you acting like you're the only champion here. Don't make me pretty much take that belt off of you. Josh Briggs comes out there, interrupts, saying Briggs things. Stacks and Ariana comes out and interrupt, and he's like, Ethan, you talking about you taking the belt international, blah, 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 but I'm the only one that's the international champion around here, aka the TNA international champion. And then Shiloh comes out, and Shiloh is like, hey, you know, Stacks, is good to see you. You know, you and Ariana, especially, you know, last time I saw y'all, you know, making sure y'all holidays wasn't too bad after that Christmas bash or brawl. I think it was the Christmas brawl. Yeah, that sounds about right. And pretty much Shiloh announced that next week is going to be Shiloh versus Stack for the TNA International Championship. Then Tavion comes out and was like, man, you know, Shiloh, I see what you're doing, but you know, it's time to have a little party, you know what I'm saying? It's missing some Tavion. And pretty much Tavion is popping his shit about Jasper, because next week, Jasper Troy, Tavion Heights for the men's speed championship. And it eventually just leads to a brawl. This person hit that person. This person accidentally hit this person. But the moment came when Shiloh was in the ring with Ariana. Then he kind of, you know, starts to twirl her and spins her. And when he dips her down and seemingly acting like he was going to like kiss her, his mouth guard / tooth falls out and falls on Ariana's chest. She freaks out, and pretty much Shiloh was the one left in the ring to kind of like, yeah, me Shiloh, you know, type of energy. After the OTM and Joe Hendry thing, it moves on to Fatal Influence because, you know, JC just retained, and then they run into Soul and Zarya, you know, Zaruka, and pretty much Soul is like, look, I'm trying to get that belt up off your big dog. And, you know, JC took shots about Soul not being champion, especially champ. Soul was like, well, ain't you supposed to be champ? And then when Soul made mention about winning the women's championship, she was like, aren't y'all supposed to be a tag team type of energy? So, you know, stirring that Zaruka pot. Then we get to where Ethan Page is all disheveled and upset. He see Miles Bourne back there talking to Tate Wilder, which is another guy who's been on Evolve. And he's like, why didn't you come out there, Miles Bourne? And yeah, so seemingly, like I've kind of predicted before, that Miles Bourne was seeming like he was going to be the one that was going to end up dethroning Ethan Page. Like, I'm pretty sure they're ready to call Ethan Page up. You know, if we're really being honest. Because I mean, before we get to it, Javon is officially signed to Raw. Trick Williams is officially signed to SmackDown. Ava made mention that Jordan Grace signed, but you know, didn't necessarily say which brand. And somebody else was recently called up. Javon, Trick, Jordan. I forget who the other person was recently called up. So yeah, then but now we get to our main event of the evening. Overfemi defending that NXT Men's Championship against TNA X Division champ Leon Slater. I figured this match was going to go the way I thought. I figured they was going to kind of give that notion of when Javon fought Leon Slater, that it kind of gave that feel that that it just kind of gave that, because I mean, Leon Slater is pretty much Javon built. It's just that he's not tall. So, you know, him doing the, you know, being faster, him trying to, you know, get over off his feet, him trying, you know, take away, you know, he was going for Over's knee at one point, you know, trying to take away the base from Over, but pretty much the typical David Goliath, big man, little man, you know, how little man is going to fare, you know. Excuse me. You know, they have to do what they have to do to make it as believable as possible. I mean, Leon is billed at 198. Over is billed at 310. They had to make it look believable as possible. With that believability, you know, Over was selling for Leon. There was moments where it looked like, oh shit. There was especially one where Leon hit a roll-up, and when I tell you, Over's kick out was like, they couldn't have timed that any better, from Over's kick out to damn near that ref hitting the mat for 3. But ultimately, the match ended with Leon was running it over. Over basically kind of did the pop-up fall from grace. Over retains. This is what that downside sometimes too of being on network TV, because when that 9 o'clock time hits, you know, they just boom, cut it. So pretty much what was happening in the end was, after Over win, they cut backstage. Ava is talking to a bunch of people from Evolve, and I want to say possibly even LFG, which they may be all in the same. And she was pretty much saying, since Jordan, Trick, Javon is called up, and I want to say many people say they think Joe Hendry's one too, but I can't remember if she said Hendry or not, since Hendry is still wrestling on NXT. But since them 3 for sure have been called up, there may be some roster spots. Stone cuts back in the office and was like, Ava, did you just see what happened? She was like, what? Did you see what Over just did? And it looked like he was going to do it before they cut to backstage. Then they cut back in the ring. Over left the championship in the ring. And then the last shot you see is the championship. And in the crowd distance, you see Tony D staring at it. So it's looking like Over has relinquished the championship. And mainly, and this is the reason why I was wondering how this was going to go. Since Saturday night's main event, I think a week or so after that, they've been showing vignettes of Obafemi on Raw and SmackDown. So you're not going to show Obafemi vignettes if you're not ready to call the man up. So I thought that maybe they'll go ahead and pull the trigger, and Leon Slater is the first to, well, other than the Hardys, will be the first to win a NXT championship. But nope, it looks like Oba is going to relinquish said championship. So, and that's pretty much NXT and New Year's Evil. Like I said, I'm definitely intrigued to see what they're going to do with some of the booking going forward. And, you know, mainly more with the women. Like, are they going to book Soul taking on JC? Then most likely, probably Soul and Zarya probably going to officially fizzle. Where does the North American Championship in the women's side go from here, considering they took the belt off of Thea? Blake didn't necessarily get her official rematch. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see what's going to happen with the women, because if if Oba relinquished the belt, then we see Tony D staring at it. We know Ricky Saints won it. So I guess Saints and Tony D. You know, I'm just kind of intrigued with it. But yeah, whether you loved it or hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, share, comment. After you do all of that, tag that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tag that notification bell if you haven't already, when you can be notified for all the videos we post. Shout outs to all my tag brethren. Shout outs to the Tag Nation. Shout outs to each and every one of y'all listening. And like I usually say, love one another, love yourself. Take care of one another. Take care of yourself. 2026. Let's make this year epic. Epic. If you want to be fancy. And for you beautiful, beautiful people out there, don't forget to tag out. Peace.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama